Welcome to Daily Harmony. You're here because you're looking to understand things deeply, right?
Mm-hmm.
To really grasp the essence without, getting bogged down.
Yeah, cutting through the noise.
Exactly. And that's what we aim for here on the Deep Dive. Today, it's just you and us, and we're setting out on, well, a pretty fascinating journey.
It really is a journey to the core of your being.
Mm-hmm.
Our map, so to speak, is A Course in Miracles, specifically Lesson 204.
Which revisits that really powerful idea, the name of God is my inheritance.
Exactly. And it's important to say this isn't about religious doctrine in the usual sense.
Right.
It's much more about uncovering your most fundamental, your authentic self.
So our mission for this deep dive.
Our goal is to really unpack what it truly means to claim the name of God as your inheritance.
And how that understanding can actually reshape your experience of life.
Profoundly reshape it, yeah. We'll be drawing insights from the Course itself, naturally. And also from sources like Divine Inheritance in A Course in Miracles, another one called Divine Inheritance, A Course in Miracles, Lesson 204, and also the Inheriting the Name of God, Lesson 204 Study Guide.
Okay, great. So let's dive straight into this central idea then. The name of God is my inheritance. It sounds, well, incredibly significant. What's the real power packed into that?
Well, the insight here, and it's quite profound, is that those persistent feelings we have of lack, of separation.
That feeling of something missing.
Exactly. They often stem from identifying too much with our temporary physical form and our egoic thoughts.
Right, the day-to-day worries and limitations we feel.
Precisely. And recognizing the name of God as my inheritance is presented as the direct antidote to that.
An antidote how?
By shifting our awareness, moving it from that limited view to our eternal, complete, divine nature.
Ah, okay.
The sources really emphasize that this isn't just, a nice, comforting thought.
It's more fundamental.
It's positioned as the very key to spiritual awakening, to realizing our genuine identity fundamentally connected with the divine. It's really about understanding that our inherent state is wholeness, belonging.
That makes a lot of sense. So why this particular lesson? Why is this focus on our divine inheritance such a crucial point within the framework of A Course in Miracles?
Well, Lesson 204 acts as this powerful reminder.
A reminder of what?
Of the illusory nature of the world as we often perceive it, and especially the illusion of the ego.
Okay, the ego in Course terms, that's the thought system of separation, right?
Exactly. It's that voice in our head that insists we're separate individuals, separate from each other, separate from God.
Which leads to fear, judgment, all that stuff.
All that stuff, yeah. And what's fascinating here is how this lesson gently but quite firmly steers us away from identifying only with our bodies and our worldly concerns.
It encourages a shift.
A big shift in focus towards our spiritual reality, this inherent, unbreakable connection to the divine source.
The name of God. It's such a loaded phrase. It feels like more than just, a title or a label.
Oh, absolutely. It's symbolic. The sources explain it represents several really vital aspects of who we are.
Such as?
First, it stands for our true inheritance, that deep, unbreakable connection to the divine source we just mentioned.
Okay.
It also speaks to our spiritual essence, the actual substance of who we are at our deepest level.
Our divine heritage.
Our divine heritage, yes, as children of God. You could think of it as recognizing our shared identity in the divine, where, in truth, separation just doesn't exist.
Understanding that name really sets the stage then. It helps us see how focusing on it can actually shift our day-to-day experience.
Yeah.
So let's get practical. How does claiming this inheritance help us navigate, well, the messiness of life,
Right.
daily struggles?
That's the key, isn't it? By consciously focusing on this divine inheritance, we start to dissolve those illusions of separateness.
The ones the ego works so hard to maintain.
Exactly. Those feelings of being isolated, vulnerable, disconnected, they're described as the direct results of that egoic thinking.
And this lesson helps dismantle them.
That's the aim. Recognizing our inherent connection, our shared spiritual essence, starts to chip away at the perceived limitations, the ones imposed by the ego and the physical world.
So we can approach challenges differently.
Yes, from a place of inner strength, of knowing, rather than just reacting from fear or uncertainty.
So it's really about remembering, maybe reclaiming a part of ourselves that's always been there, our true spiritual essence.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. It's intrinsically linked to this divine inheritance.
So the lesson is a call to remember.
A call to remember and actively reclaim that fundamental aspect of ourselves. It's about shifting our primary identification
Away from the temporary stuff.
away from the temporary, often turbulent aspects of our life experience towards the eternal, unwavering truth of our being.
Recognizing our inherent spiritual worth no matter what's happening on the outside.
Exactly, regardless of circumstances.
Okay, the sources also talk about practical ways to connect to this. Meditation comes up, specifically repeating the phrase, "The name of God is my inheritance."
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? I mean, on a deeper level than just saying words.
Right. When you repeat that phrase in silence, you're not just, mouthing syllables.
You're creating focus.
You're creating a focal point for your mind, gently guiding it away from the ego's constant chatter. It's about allowing the truth of the statement to resonate, to move beyond just intellectual understanding.
And touch something deeper.
Yes, a deeper level of knowing. This kind of consistent practice helps quiet that internal noise. It lets your awareness of that inherent divine connection actually strengthen.
And then there are affirmations. The sources mention things like, "I am a reflection of divine love," or "I inherit peace and joy from God."
Yes.
How do these help us embody this understanding day to day, especially when we're feeling, scared or doubtful?
Affirmations are powerful because they directly counteract the limiting beliefs and fearful thoughts the ego throws at us.
So when you say, "I am a reflection of divine love,"
You're actively stating your true nature. You're choosing to override the ego's story about you being separate or unworthy.
and "I inherit peace and joy from God,"
That's a direct claim on your divine birthright. It's yours already. Consistent repetition helps essentially reprogram your thinking.
reinforcing your true identity.
Exactly, and diminishing the power of fear and doubt by reminding you of that inherent spiritual strength you possess.
The reflection exercise sounds really insightful too. Writing down what the name of God is my inheritance means to you personally,
Mm-hmm.
and then thinking about how that changes your view on life's challenges. Why is that personal engagement so powerful? And, we really encourage you, the listener, to try this. What does that phrase mean to you?
It's that act of writing. It forces a deeper engagement than just thinking.
Right, it makes it more concrete.
Yes. By articulating what it means to you personally, you're making it your own. You're grounding this profound truth in your individual experience.
And then reflecting on the impact.
Then reflecting on how that realization actually impacts how you see your life, your challenges. That can lead to really significant shifts, big aha moments sometimes.
How so?
You might start seeing difficulties less as insurmountable obstacles,
And more as.
more as opportunities, maybe. Opportunities to recognize your inherent strength, that unshakable divine nature shining through.
And visualization. Picturing ourselves surrounded by divine light, symbolizing this name of God. What's the benefit there?
Visualization is such a potent tool. It connects with our inner truth on an emotional, even sensory level.
Bypassing the logical mind.
To some extent, yes. By picturing yourself enveloped in divine light, you're creating a tangible representation of your true inheritance.
You're making it feel real.
Exactly. This imagery can evoke a deep sense of peace, love, connection. It acts as a powerful reminder of your true nature.
Like feeling held and supported.
Yes, which can be incredibly helpful when you're facing those feelings of fear or isolation.
So, okay, with consistent practice, the meditation, affirmations, reflection, visualization, how does lesson 2 or 4 suggest our fundamental sense of self, our identity, starts to change?
Well, it points towards a really profound shift in identity.
From what to what?
From identifying primarily with that limited, often fear-based ego, to recognizing our true self as an expression of the divine. It suggests our real identity isn't rooted in our physical body or our job or the ego's judgments.
But in our connection to God.
In our inherent connection to God. That's our true self. By claiming the name of God as our inheritance, we start aligning our self-perception with this deeper, more authentic reality.
Recognizing our spiritual worth as just,
Yeah.
inherent,
Right.
eternal.
Precisely.
And this really brings us to that crucial reflection question you mentioned. How does recognizing that the name of God is my inheritance change my understanding of my life's purpose and the challenges I face? It feels like everything kind of builds up to this.
It absolutely does. This question invites us to really explore the practical, lived implications of this truth. If our fundamental nature is divine, if we inherit the very essence of God, how does that redefine purpose?
Yeah, purpose might shift away from just external goals.
Maybe it shifts from seeking external validation or achievement towards recognizing and then expressing the inherent love, peace, and joy that is our divine inheritance.
And challenges. How does this view change how we face difficulties?
Viewing ourselves as inheritors of God's name, it provides a completely different lens. Instead of feeling like victims of circumstance.
Which is easy to do.
Very easy. We can start to see these experiences as opportunities. Opportunities to remember and embody our true, unshakable nature. To affirm our truth right in the face of fear.
So ultimately, what's the overarching goal here? What's the destination, according to the Course and these sources, of really living from this understanding?
The ultimate goal, as the sources consistently suggest, is spiritual awakening.
Moving beyond illusion.
Yes, a journey of moving beyond the ego's illusions and realizing our true identity as one with the divine.
So it's about dissolving those false ideas. Separation, lack.
Dissolving those, yes, and reclaiming our inherent spiritual essence, which naturally leads to a life lived from a place of, well, profound inner peace.
Unshakable joy.
Unshakable joy and a deep, deep sense of connection to everything.
So to kind of wrap this up, the core message seems crystal clear. Your truest inheritance isn't stuff. It's not external.
No.
It's the very essence of who you are, the name of God, which represents your divine identity, your unbreakable connection to the source.
That's it exactly. And embracing this understanding, it's an active thing.
Not passive.
Not passive at all. It involves consciously choosing again and again to recognize your inherent spiritual worth, especially when fear pops up.
Affirming the truth of your divine nature.
Yes, it's about claiming God's name as your reality, not just some nice idea. And this shifting perspective truly has the power to transform everything.
How you see yourself, your purpose, every single challenge you face.
Every single one.
Which brings us to a final thought, really, for you to take away and ponder. Think about a situation right now, maybe something specific where you feel fear or doubt, or that sense of being separate.
Mm-hmm.
How might consciously recognizing yourself as an inheritor of God's name, as a being of inherent divine essence, how might that actually alter your approach to that specific situation?
It's a powerful question to sit with.
Definitely something to explore in your own quiet moments. Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with us today.
Yes, thank you.
We genuinely hope this exploration has offered you some truly valuable and hopefully empowering insights.
And just remember, this journey of understanding our true nature, it's ongoing. It unfolds continuously.
There's always more to discover.
Always more within.